Hello YouTube, Computer Kid 1416 here, and today we're going to begin the Dig Dug restoration. Now, I made a video, I'll put in the description, kind of summarizing all I want to do to it, and of course you'll see it as I go, but basically, it's mainly cosmetic work I'm going to do to it, but there is one thing electronically we have to address, which is an issue with the monitor. Now, if you watched the announcement video, you'll know that the problem I was having was a botched cap kit that was causing a lot of issues. So, and I fixed that. That was as simple as just some solder joints that had lifted that I had to reseat and that kind of thing. So we basically just redid our work and everything's fine now with that. However, there is now a separate issue, and I'll take it out the top out so you guys can see what it is that we do not have vertical or horizontal deflection. So I'll show you guys what that means for those who don't know. Basically, it means that the yoke, which is the part of the monitor that creates a horizontal and vertical image, is not connected correctly. So you can see it's got this little colored dot in the middle of the screen. Now, a lot of times when you get this, it's just as simple as I forgot to connect the yoke connector to the board. However, I have connected it. So the issue is not that. It's either the pins on the board are bad and need to be reseated, or it could be maybe a neighboring diode that went out. You know, I don't know, something like that, but we're going to have to figure out what that is. So I guess the next order of business will be to take the board out, bring it out to the garage, and see if we can... See, it's working perfectly, as you guys can hear. In fact, let me, to further prove my point, let me start a game here, and you guys can see it's working fine. And the cap kit problem has been fixed, so it's just a matter of the yoke. The yoke itself is fine. I tested it with a multimeter, but it just needs to be figure out why it's not making a good connection. So yep, I'll be back in a minute. We'll address that. Alright, so we get it out in the garage and stripped down to just the cabinet. So the next step, I think, is going to be just giving it a very, very good cleaning. You can maybe tell it's very dirty and dusty. So just kind of, vacuuming out and cleaning it off for a while. See, I got all the parts over here now. The delicate stuff, like the glass pieces and the game board, I have inside. But everything else I've got out here. Also, you may notice there's no monitor. I spent several hours trying to figure that thing out, and I just could not do it. I'm not experienced enough with that, so I ended up giving up and letting someone look at it for me, who has a lot more experience and charged a very good price. So, I figured that was worth it. And he had a rejuvenator machine too, which is something I don't have. So he was able to give the tube a good cleaning and everything, so that the colors will look better. So so I figured that was worth it overall. But anyway, yep. So the next step is going to be to, like I said, clean it out real well. Then also we're going to be taking apart the coin mechs and go ahead and spray paint all these metal pieces. So anyway, I'll be back with that in a minute.
Insert coin. Batman. Keep them up, yum.
Alright, so I think the first thing we're going to do is get this paint off of these metal pieces and go ahead and paint them. So we're trying this stuff, this kitchen clean strip paint and varnish stripper. Never used this stuff before. Hopefully it does a good job, and then we can always sand off the excess. But yeah, so just coated that, and it takes about 30 minutes, and I will do that with all of these, and then yeah, we'll see what happens. Alright, so I've let it sit on there for almost a full day, so which is probably a little bit overkill, but the problem is this stuff does not go on very thick. So I found that unless I want to do layering after coat, I pretty much have to let it, let it sit on there a while. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and scrape this stuff off now, and hopefully it'll, oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's completely stripping now. I don't know how well you guys can see it there, but it's completely stripping that off. Alright, so this is the end result. You can see I got like, let's say 97% of the paint off, so that's good. So as you can see how rusty they are as well. So the next step will be just to sand them off and paint them. Now these other rattle pieces, I'm not going to bother taking the paint completely off. It's really not necessary, so I'll just sand all these off and then paint them as well. Unfortunately, my dad's old sander does not work anymore. It's probably 30 years old or so, so I'm going to have to get a new sander for that, as well as a Dremel attachment to get the harder reach pieces, especially on these coin doors. So, yep, so that's what I'll do next. And then also, I think, sometime, maybe next weekend, I'm going to try to get these holes filled. You can see if I can get some better light on it. See, it looks like someone might have had like a safety bar or something over this, because you can see there's a few holes that need to be filled. There you go, you can see those there. So, just need to fill those, no big deal. And also repaint that front as well. And then also one thing I may tackle this week is that the control panel needs to be thoroughly cleaned. Now, I mentioned I'm not going to replace the overlay because the overlay is in very good shape. Not perfect shape, but normal wear and tear, but good enough to look original. So, yep, I'm just going to take it apart and clean it up real well. So anyway, that'll all be this week, and you guys will see that in just a minute. Alright guys, just to show you kind of what I've been doing. So I took the control panel over here to prepare myself to take apart and clean all the individual parts, but it looks like it's already been really well cleaned by someone, and it looks like also that these micro switches have been replaced. You can see they look like, they're actually kind of cheap looking, honestly. They're plastic, as you can see, but as long as it works, I'm not too worried about that part of it. But anyway, yeah, as you can see, it's very, very clean. I didn't do anything to it except just vacuum dust out of it, but other than that, you can see how clean it is. So someone already did that. Now I'm considering sanding down and repainting just this inside part of the control panel, because as I mentioned earlier, I don't want to replace the overlay because it's in good enough shape where I want to just keep it original. So I cleaned it up a little bit, of course, but I don't want to fully replace it. So what I might end up doing is taping that off and just spray painting just the inside part. You can see it's really rusty and scratched up, but I don't know. I mean, you don't ever see it, so I don't know. I'll give that one some thought, but definitely I have to. As you can see, I took the ball and shaft off because, from the looks of it, I think this is probably the original, or at least I want to believe it's the original. And as you can see, it's really rusted, so I'm gonna sand that off really well, and then I'll be good to go on this. Now, one other thing I've got to do is I was looking at this earlier, and I just barely touched this, like not even. Sorry about the cut there, but anyway, as I was saying earlier, they are unfortunately pretty cheap, it looks like, and I was just barely wiggling on this part, this connection to the harness here, and it came right off. So I'm going to have to resolder that, which I think I can do without having to take it all apart, although I might take it apart anyway, just because I need to be able to put the joystick back together. So anyway, see what happens with that. But yeah, otherwise, very good condition control panel here, except maybe the inside, but I don't know if I'll worry about that or not. But anyway, yep, on to the next part. Alright, so I'm going to start preparing the front for sanding and painting. So first I'm going to fill this hole here. I've got a dowel that's cut to the right size. Focus. There we go, I got a dowel that's the right size, so just gonna put some glue, wood glue. Just trying to get this glue open off camera. There we go. Just kind of get some in here. little messy there. Just kind of, it's gonna be a little messy, but just kind of stick some in there. Like that. Again, it's a little messy, but oh well. This is just to get it in there so when I Bondo, it won't have to Bondo the... You don't want to Bondo a hole that's completely all the way through because it'll make it kind of cave in. So this is just to kind of get it in there. Like that. Should be fine. Alright, gonna let that dry a little bit and then we'll do the Bondo and stuff after that. Okay, so now we're going to address these little dimples here, and the way we're going to be doing that is drilling it in just slightly, just enough to we can put Bondo over it. Yep, not much at all, just enough to get it to where it's recessed in and we can use Bondo to fill it in. I don't know what those were there for. I don't know if they had like a lock bar or something, but whatever it is, we're going to be getting that all filled in and flush. Yeah. Yep, perfect. Perfect. Alright, we got this front nice and flattened out, ready for Bondo. So, let's go ahead and do that now. I don't know how well this will show up on camera. You can see all this white stuff here. There's a big rat's nest in the cabinet. Kind of gross there. Well, it's taped off now, but it was in that light fixture up there. And speaking of that, we taped off most of this already to get ready to paint these black parts here. I'm still got to do this side, but yeah, I think we did a pretty good job. Yep, so we'll be back in a little bit. Alright, gonna try to do some painting here. We got some screws on a soda container there, and then I got the marquee bracket just to kind of test things out. So. Where is the completed coin door? You can see the paint turned out really, really good. Back side of it. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how this matte paint, or satin paint, sorry, turned out. Alright, so what we're trying to do now is get these old leg levelers out, kind of rusted a little bit, so we can put some new one in. So what I think we're going to try to do is just get the whole frame out, and because the levers themselves are not coming out easily. So we're just going to remove it. It's stapled in, which is kind of weird. I don't know why they would do it that way, but yeah, so we're just going to do that and try to get those out hopefully without ripping the old hole. Alright, there it goes. So here's what the old one looks like if you guys are curious. And we'll do the other 3 off camera and come back. But yeah, see how rusted out this is. Let me focus it here.
Yeah, get one of the new ones and let's put it in there and see if it works.
Yeah. So what we did was we went to Lowe's and got some of these Hillman T-nuts 3/8 by say 16. It looks like this. This will be the housing for the new leg leveler. So we're going to go ahead and install that and see how that looks. See, it just screws in there very easy.
It's the same size.
Yep, same exact size.
Very good. We just put 3 screws in it.
Yep, 3 little wood screws and...
It'll be done. We might as well do each one separately.
Yeah.
While we're doing it, I'll get the screws.
Okay. So there's the old levelers, and you can see they use the kind here with the spikes, where it's kind of spikes into the wood. You definitely don't want to do that. You want to use these that have screws on them. So, and as you can see, I've got all 4 installed now, so let me go ahead and put the leg levelers in. Now, what I do is, first of all, these are the ones I bought. They're Ace Hardware, so it's got kind of a hard plastic on the bottom to protect hardwood or whatever. But yeah, what I do is I like to make sure all these nuts are about the same length, so that yeah, just so that they're all about that level on the ground. So, but anyway, I'd start screwing some of these in. And just do that till the nut is flush. And you can start tightening the nut here. Yeah, you guys get the idea, so I'll do all 4 of these and come back. Alright, so now we're going to address spraying these glass pieces with this Krylon clear glaze. And as the name implies, it is clear. However, you want to be careful, like in the case of this monitor bezel where it's got a see-through for the monitor. You want to make sure to tape all that off, because even though it's clear, it will create a little bit of a residue. So anything that's see-through, you definitely want to cover off. So anyway, other than that, I think you can kind of just go crazy with it. I don't think it really matters too much. So see, it's kind of like a spray paint here. So anyway, let's give it a try. And I think, like I said, I think this will basically just protect it from further flaking. These are in pretty good shape, so I want to keep them that way. Again, I don't know if there's really a art to it necessarily, just kind of go crazy with it here. Since it's clear, it's hard to tell if I'm covering it properly or not, but again, you know, I'll do multiple coats for sure. Okay, that's it for that. Spray the marquee here. Actually, the marquee is in better shape than the monitor overlay, so that was good. Alright, that's good for the first coat, I think. Let me, off camera, I'll do several more coats to it, and I think we'll be good to go after that. So. Alright, so we got the black paint done. You said we did the top there, the back here, looks pretty good. And the front, which I'm really proud of this. We covered those holes almost 100%. So yeah, it's really coming along nicely. The next step, and I guess final step for the major parts anyway, is to do this gash that was here. So we'll do that here in a minute. So don't worry, I did preserve these Atari stickers. You can see it's got some tape over it. Let's see how we did. Alright, well, let's see how it turned out. Yep, there we go. Oh yeah. A little faded, but it was like that before. All right, now this one on this side. All right, well, turned out really, really good. Preserved all the original stickers there, and also drilled some new holes for the back door, and yeah, looks really good. All right, so if you guys remember, there was a big gash here, so what we've done is applied some of this Bondo glazing putty, which basically, from my understanding, is basically a more of a pin hole filler as opposed to Bondo, which you have to harden and all of that. This is meant for more just like this kind of stuff. So, and the advantage of this stuff is apparently it sticks to the Atari artwork as well. So, yep. So we applied some of that, and we'll just let that dry, sand it down, and then hopefully we can find a paint that matches good enough to look presentable. So, all right, we'll be back in a bit. All right, so we did the puttying and primer. You can see it's nice and smooth. So now we're just going to spray a white paint on it and blend it in with the, so you can see the existing artwork here, and yeah, it should be good to go. So there's a tip for blending white with the Atari artwork. So we use this Krylon Fusion flat white. As you can see, it looks pretty close. And so what we did was, you can see there's a little bit of a line up there where the paint's still drying. We got to work on that. But basically, yeah, you can see there's hardly any difference. So what we did was we got some 300 grit sanding block and just kind of worked it a little bit. And as you can see, there's not a noticeable line at all, except again up there I still got to do. But yeah, you can see it's pretty close. So yeah, I'd highly recommend doing that if you're trying to fix up Atari artwork like we did. Well, we got it inside the house and got the T-molding on it. I didn't get that on video just because it would have been kind of hard to do, but yep, it looks really, really good. Original black color, which I think looks the best. And next step, tomorrow actually, it's getting kind of late, but the next step tomorrow will be to install all the electronics in it. Alright, well I've got everything assembled except the control panel and monitor, which I'll do tomorrow, but yeah, everything assembled, so sorry I didn't do it on camera. I just wanted to kind of take my time with it. Alright, so yep, everything's assembled. So let's power it on and hope that it fires up. Minus the monitor, of course. Yeah, that's the boot up sound. That's a good sign. We got lights. And the final thing would be to see if it coins up. Which means the game board is working. I didn't do anything to the game board except I attempted to install I bought a free play kit for it. Obviously free play. But unfortunately, I figured out you cannot do that under Twin Galaxies rules. And I am planning on playing this game competitively. So I had to return that and put it back to its original board. But oh well, at least I can, it's easy enough just to coin it up every time. And speaking of that, let's go ahead and do that and see if we get something. That's a really good sound. So, yep, we've got everything except obviously the monitor I've got to hook up tomorrow, but everything else, yeah, we got power, so very, very pleased. Well, I had a video clip for the end of this, but unfortunately my camera deleted it, so I'm just going to have to do a narration instead. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this project. I've been working on this since October, so I'm glad to finally have it behind me. So yeah, again, thank you guys for watching, and enjoy my personal best attempts that I'm going to upload from time to time. I'm actually working on playing this game competitively. I'm currently number 19 on the leaderboards, and I'm wanting to hopefully end up in the top 10. That's kind of my goal. So you guys can enjoy watching those from time to time. And then I've also got some more traditional videos in the works as well. So, yep, thank you guys for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.